Wildstar. Adventure is about to get an ass kicking.
Hello, my name is Phil and I'd like to welcome you to Wildstar Weekly. The date is the 26th of April and this week we will be talking about dungeons.
The first dungeon that's been announced for the game today. Can you please tell us something about it?
Arkship EU, we've been seeing a bit more information from the guys who went to Arkship, some articles and whatnot, and we'll finish off with some PvP. So welcome to another week of Wildstar news, and I want to start off by saying to our EU friends that just as the same day that I finished off last week's Wildstar Weekly, it was announced on Facebook that they will be doing the beta in the EU. So personally, I think we can expect that in the next invite wave, so that's something definitely for us lot to look forward to. Another little interesting piece of news was David Bass, who is the senior community manager for Wildstar, and he goes by the name of Scooter online, and his Twitter, he managed to say, and I quote, "Had a successful test live stream earlier today. Looks like our studio can handle the bandwidth. Time to make some secret plans." But seriously though, this is really interesting to me. I remember ArenaNet did a similar thing where they live streamed two developers talking about the game, and it's more interactive, you know, they can answer questions, they can ask questions, I guess, and it was just awesome. It's that sort of extra detail you get from a developer actually talking about the game rather than reading it in an article or something. So I really hope that we get something like that, but I was also thinking I really do hope we get something more. Like, yeah, it's good listening to developers talk to us and explain things and talk amongst themselves, and it's pretty cool to watch like the ArenaNet guys did, but I would really like to see in-game testing. I want more transparency from the developers. Yes, they've got NDA closed beta testing going on right now for them to, you know, test different aspects of the game that they want to look at. But I think, for example, if they put a war plot battle on a live stream and sort of said, right, we're going to live stream this war plot battle, and everybody then from the community can watch the live stream and comment and give feedback on what they think. And obviously they're not playing it, they're only seeing things, but they might see things that the players don't, or you know, it's just a bit more interactivity between the community and the NDA beta testing that's going on now, and we don't feel as left out if we haven't got into the beta yet. And obviously if things don't work or if things are broken, then the developers can just say right there and then on live stream, oh yeah, this doesn't work, we're going to fix this by doing this, we're thinking about implementing this, what do you think about that? And it just opens up the game to a lot more feedback, and I think it would do it in a very constructive way as well, because on the live stream the developers are there, the community is there, and I think it would just add like so much attention, and it would give the game a ton of attention. Carbine, I don't know, I just think it would be a good idea. What do you guys think about that? I have no idea, but it's just my mind is ran away with this live stream tweet, and it might just be, you know, what ArenaNet did where you have developers talking about the game, but I really do hope they live stream some footage and allow us to see the testing that's going on. mmorpg Life managed to get an interview at the Arkship EU event with Christopher Perens, and the interview was on dungeons, and well, it's on system development mainly, but they talked about dungeons for the most part. So if you want to learn more about dungeons and to hear a little bit more about it, definitely go over there to check that YouTube video out. The link will be in the description below. The 3-day Arkship EU event finished up this week, and the much anticipated information has slowly been making its way onto the interwebs. ZAM has posted a couple of interviews and articles that were done at the Arkship EU event. One is talking about the game's engine, and the other is talking to Jen Gordy, the lead PvP designer, about the PvP in Wildstar. Speculation Zone. Yes, you've seen it, you heard it, it is the speculation zone. This zone is where we speculate about something to do with Wildstar, and none of it's confirmed, none of it's at all probably going to be in the game, but it's all just fun speculating about what could possibly be in this awesome game Wildstar. So this week, I had an interesting idea. Now, it's going to be quite hard to explain and quite hard to grasp, I guess, but I'm going to try my best, so forgive me if I ramble on a bit too much. But one of the most unique features to Wildstar at the moment is its socket and plug system. Now this is a system that's used inside the housing and war plots that we know so far. So housing, for example, you can go inside your house, you can plop anything anywhere, and you can basically design your own house. Outside, you have sockets and plugs, so if you want to put, say, a sign up, you can select the sign, select where you want it to go, and plop it in that section of your garden, or whatever it might be. And this technology just allows you to customize using different items and props, in quotations, in the game. So you got the prop team that makes those props, and you can plop and select and use all these different things inside the game. Now they take it a bigger step further and allowing groups of people to be able to do this in war plots. So the speculation, that's what we know so far, but I'm thinking, how far can they stretch this? And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, you know, what's the best thing that can possibly come from a socket and plug system like this? Because it's allowing us as the players to use our imagination, it's allowing us to use our creativity. And the games of past that have allowed this and have been ridiculously successful are games like Gary's Mod, for example, a very, very open sort of use your own creativity type game, and Minecraft, which is obviously an open world where you can take and pick up blocks and put them anywhere you like. So these two games are very successful and everybody loves them, and everybody have been playing them for absolutely years. And then you've got smaller games such as Game Globe, which haven't really seen the limelight, but people who play them absolutely love it, and they grow a big community within themselves, and you can really see how people spend hours and hours creating and building their own little projects and their own little creations for other people to enjoy. So why not have something in Wildstar such as, let's say, an adventure plot, which is similar to the housing plot, similar to the war plots, but it's just a big stretch of land, similar to what you would see in Game Globe, where you can build your own adventure on top of it. And Game Globe is actually the closest thing that I imagine an adventure plot to be like. So similar to how you have a housing plot where you got this little plot of land, you plop your house on top of it, and you can build whatever you like inside the house, whatever you like outside the house, and you can really customize it to the limits that Wildstar have. I imagine adventure plots to be the same, you know, you buy an adventure plot, maybe it's also floating in the sky, who knows? And then similar to the housing system, and I'm guessing the war plot system, you can use everything that you've collected in the world, or the props that you've collected or bought or whatever it might be, and you can build your own. You can just use your imagination to build anything. So it might be a game within a game, for example. You might try to use the system to, I don't know, do like horde modes where you just have to defend against constant waves of enemies, or you might do like an adventure map where you can create your own little quest and your own little environment for the player to partake the quest in. Or maybe you can just build an epic looking castle that has like loads of different puzzles and different layers to it, so each time you go up a step into the layer, into the castle, that it has, you know, harder and harder monsters with a boss at the top. And to be able to do all this, you have to actually go out into the game and find different bits and bobs that you can use within your adventure plot. So for example, if you want to use this mob inside your game, then you have to go out and buy a cage, you have to buy a trap, you have to get all these items, and maybe even you have to craft it, who knows, you have to like craft the trap, and then you set down the trap, and then you have to kite the mob into the trap, and then you finally got it and you can collect it and then put it in your adventure plot to use for other people to play and battle against, and it'll be awesome. But I don't know if it will ever actually be put inside the game, but it shows, you know, it shows that maybe with this socket and plug system and this sort of creative, I don't know, creative design within the game already with the war plots and houses, maybe this is where they can push it to its absolute limits, and maybe years down the line we'll see stuff like this, because it also adds endless content to the game. I mean, MMOs are always sort of complaining that new MMOs come out and the only way they can sustain themselves is by adding lots and lots of content to the game. Like Guild Wars 2 at the moment, each month new content's being added to keep the game sustained, because it's going up against games like World of Warcraft, which have a ton of content in it already, so people can get bored of a new MMO really quickly and fall back on an old MMO that's already got a ton to do there. But with this sort of system within the game, I know obviously it won't be put there at launch, but it's the idea of having endless content. The players create their own adventures, and I think it would be absolutely awesome, and I'd love to make one myself, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to do something like that out there. And it allows you to explore the world a bit more as well, to sort of find different creatures that you can use, to find different NPCs that you could probably use. I don't know, let your imaginations run wild, but I think you guys generally get what what I'm trying to put across with this socket and plug system. So let me know what you think about that. Who knows, is it good, is it bad, is it ugly? I don't know. But guys, that is the speculation zone over. For this week's Wildstar Wednesday, or shall I say Thursday, as the internet went down in the Carbine offices this week, so they couldn't upload it on the Wednesday, so instead we got it on the Thursday. But for me especially, I always have to read it the day after, so I got to see it on the Friday, so it was a very long wait for this one. But the announcement was the new zone called the Crimson Isles, and they've got an article explaining about it with a few screenshots, as you can see. So if you want to know more about this zone, go over to the Wildstar website and check it out. So moving on into our last section, which is the PvP section, an interview done by ZAM with Jen Gordy, the lead PvP designer. And for all of you that have been waiting for some more PvP information, this is the article to read. They go through a ton of stuff, from arena PvP to the approach and the style that they're doing, their gear progression, is there going to be gear progression, and what different stats are there going to be on the gears. Like if you played WoW, stuff like resilience and what have you, they talk about how they're going to combat stats on gears, how they're going to balance between PvE, PvP. There's tons and tons of stuff. They even go into talking about leaderboards and battlegrounds and this sort of stuff. So but a couple of things that stood out to me in this article, if I take a look at my notes here, one of the biggest things was being able to get into an arena without a team. So this is one thing that I really missed from WoW back in the day. I remember in Wolf of Lich King, I think it was, you was able to just join arena without actually having to be in an organised team, and they changed that so that you can join arena unranked, but you still have to be in an organised 3-man team. Now I was terrible at PvP in WoW. I did get better towards the end, but back in Wolf of Lich King's days, when I first started out the game, I was absolutely awful. So I just liked playing unpressurized PvP in arena without having to actually sign up for a team with people who are actually good at the game. So this really excites me that I can just queue for PvP, for arena PvP, and not have to worry about stepping up my game to match the other people, because PvP players, it's the most competitive community in gaming out there, and they can be quite nasty at times to new players, and it's a very hard, there's a very high entry level if you want to sort of get into PvP, especially with arenas. So it takes off a lot of the pressure and adds a lot more fun to the system, being able to get into arena without having to be in a team. And the second thing that I sort of came up with in my head after reading this article, I don't think it's really mentioned per se in the article, but it sort of sprung the thought into my mind, was the freeform combat system in this game looks like it's going to make PvP something extra special. Basically, they were talking about sort of burst damage and stuns and stuff, and I just thought about like different games, and I was thinking how I played PvP in different games, and then I just remembered the combat style in Wildstar is going to be so different, and it's going to, I don't know, I'm really excited for it, because I'm planning to play whatever the healer class is going to be, because I really want to play a healer finally in an MMO rather than all the other roles, because I've never really played a healer before. And I'm really hoping, because of this freeform targeting and combat system, that the healers are going to have to like land skill shots, for example, on the floor to heal their opponents, and the different styles of combat that's going to be going on in PvP. Because I think the combat system really complements PvP players. Just the whole skill cap system of the combat is going to be really exciting and really awesome, and I can't really talk too much about it. I really want to, but I just can't, because I need to see PvP gameplay before I can really say anything on terms of combat in PvP. But I don't know, I just think it's going to be something special and something that we haven't really seen before, because Guild Wars 2 PvP was good. I mean, you had the dodging, you had the weapon swap outs, but the fact that in Wildstar you have like a ton of different skills that you can use at all times, and you're not like tied down to just the weapons you're using. You could just use all the skills that your character has and create your own build. I think there's going to be so much diversity in the PvP, and I'm really excited to see some gameplay from it. Nudge nudge, Carbine, nudge nudge. So that brings us to the end of this week's Wildstar Weekly, and of course at the end of each Wildstar Weekly we do a community section where we highlight somebody or something in the community to talk about, and this week's is going to be EvionFox, also known as Jenny Luton. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it, because Jenny Luton's actually her name, but she has been doing a couple of live streams where she's been showing her commissioned art pieces in their progress and being curated, as you can see in the background. So if you're into art and if you're into Wildstar, then this is the videos and the live stream for you. So the links to Jenny's Twitter as well as the live stream will be in the description, so you can go over there and check that all out. But guys, that brings us to the end of this week's Wildstar Weekly. I'd like to thank you all for watching. It has been quite an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts on adventure plots as well as the Wildstar live stream. And if you know anybody who would like to watch some videos like this where I cover the news each week for Wildstar, then definitely share it with them. Also, if you can give me a like, that will help support this show. And guys, I will see you all next week.